Σε παίρνω για να σου πω πόσο πολύ σ' αγαπώ Σε παίρνω για να σου πω.
Welcome to PAO Fans International. You got the Aussie contingent. You're joined by Panathafan and Nick. Welcome, boys.
Evening, Sturge. Evening, Nick.
Hello. Never a dull moment again. It's like a broken record, we say it, but this one, again, we're going to go in all different directions from one extreme to the other, eh? From the very, very good to the very, very bad in different sports.
Yeah, well, I think we've seen the best and the worst of the organization as a whole, in terms of results, but a little bit of soul searching needing to be done, especially on the FC side. Let's kick things off. Oh, Panathafan was about to say something.
No, you know what? Nick's always got some great insights. I'll let him go first, then I'll have my rant. Or you can even go ahead of me, Sturge. I got a rant coming, so you're forewarned.
All right, let's just go the overview of the Conference League game where we faced defeats 2-1 on the road in Finland versus Vikingur Reykjavik. Atlason scored in the 12th minute. For Wilhelmsson in the 56th minute, and 40 scored in the 91st minute from the spot. The goals were just like really, really unfortunate in terms of deflections. The first one was poor keeping, just Lodigan poor keeping, just weak punches 2 times, and they capitalized. And then the goal to go 2-0 up for them was just really all the luck. They just really had all the luck. It was a shot that got deflected onto the post, looping shot that deflected into the post, just and then fell straight to their player for a tapping into the goal. Yeah, let's start things off, Nick.
I've tried so hard to erase this from my memory. Unfortunately, it's impossible. First goal, as you said, not just Lodigan for me, collectively, we failed to deal with a set piece. It's Lodigan starts it with a poor clearance, but then you got the rest of them there in defense, in the box, and they still can't deal with it as well. And it's funny because I saw the pre-match presser, and Ingerson, who's from Iceland, said these guys are going to be going all out on set pieces. So we even knew it was coming, and we still failed to deal with it. That's what infuriated me the most with that one. Second one, as you said, very lucky as opposed to the first, and it was even ruled out for offside initially, and then it was a bit of a lengthy VAR check to give it to him to make it 2-0. Forty's goal, they'll take your pick. For me, there was 2-3 different infringements there. Stonewall of a penalty. Shocked it wasn't. It took him that long to give it. We're very well taken penalty by 40. That's pretty much the only positive in this, and that the fact that it's 2-1, because there was a time wasting going on. The keeper was trying to play mind games. 40 could have buckled, but thankfully didn't. That's, as I said, that's the only positive. Total shambles. For me, I called it after the game and I stand by it. The worst result in our 117-year history in Europe. This for me is head and shoulders worse than Kabbalah. That one, we got eliminated. It was 2 draws. We got eliminated on away goals. This was an outright loss to a team, probably we're talking a budget smaller than our opponents coming up in the league this weekend in Lamia. And it somehow conspired to lose to that. No excuses. Not the fact that it was -8, not the fact that it was AstroTurf, missing every player, poor referee. I don't care. That team we had, that we won to 11, that we'd fielded, was more than strong enough to go and win this game and win it comprehensively. And it's just so typical of Panathinaikos, isn't it? Just when you thought at the turn of the year we're turning a corner, we're back to this. Unbelievable. It truly is. I mean, no one. We spoke about Lodigan. None of them. Mancini, really poor. Yeremeyev, my pet peeve, gets played in a nice ball, 1-on-1 with the keeper in the second half. What does he do instead of? He probably finishes it. He goes looking for a penalty. Then you've got them after the game, these same players that have failed so many coaches. After the game, only a select few, only a handful of them actually went and clapped the fans at full time that made that long trip in -8 degree temperatures to Finland. The rest of them, where did they go? Hiding, like they did on the pitch. That's all they're good at, hiding. That's what it feels like. A real slap in the face to the entire fan base.
Panathafan, do you want to go on your rant now, or do you want me to think? I'll let you pick.
No, you can go next. Let's balance it out.
I'll try and be a little bit more diplomatic. Yeah, this game was not good. If you just look at the stats without even looking at the result, you'd think, yeah, we played well, but it's far from the truth. Were very unlucky to get two injuries. Bakaseta and Palmer Brown both picking up hamstring injuries, both out confirmed for 3 weeks. Yeah, I'm not a fan of AstroTurf. Now, we did have a Stonewall penalty as well, not given for there was a deliberate drag, bring down on Jeremejev in the box. VAR didn't even look at it. That was just a bit frustrating for me. If that gets given, I feel like, yeah, it's going to be a different kind of game early on. We can really press. We made the changes, the triple sub where we brought on Tete, Cheran, and Forti. You'd think bringing on those three players was really going to galvanize the team. Yeah, we scored. Yeah, we got the penalty, but I felt we looked more vulnerable when that happened. We saw Sharon go into the six, and that's not his position. He looks in all sorts, and we lose that midfield shape. We lose that structure that we typically have. What Rui Vitoria's really brought in was a structure, stability in the team, especially in that midfield. Sharon just looked lost, and they were unlucky not to score a third. Lodigan, for his howler on that first goal, did come off with a big save in injury time himself to keep it 2-1. The performance still, though, was not good enough by any means. We're definitely favourites going into the game. I thought the tempo was all right at the start, and I think we see this every single game where we come out that first 9, 10 minutes, we're looking good. We're moving the ball around. We've had a chance or two. You think things are going to go right, and then just the off switch happens, and then yeah, I even wrote like a blog on just the misfortunes on the club, just based on that result, that kind of result leading into the poor run that we had. We won like a 5 game without a win in all competitions. It's almost like a recurring thing that we see every single year where we start off in the off season, bit of hope, good players. The season, as we go on, it's a bit of a mixed start. Then we start picking up points. We put ourselves in a bit of contention. There's a bit of promise, and then we just bring ourselves down. Always around this period, around that February period, we just start faltering, and we just here with a good opportunity to really assert ourselves in Europe against opposition that you'd think it's a favorable matchup for us. We just didn't meet them. We didn't meet the opposition head on, and we just were complacent, and that complacency really cost us. We did see Fike come on as well in place of um, Eric Palmer Brown. I think there was a lot of hype year or two ago about Fike, but for me, just seeing him come on, I don't buy any hype. I don't think he's going to be a player that stays at the club too long. He's he just looked timid. He just didn't look like he was ready to step up wearing the Panathinaikos shirt at this kind of level. He's still what, 19, 20, 21? I think 21. But you got to be hungry. There's a lot of kids you're seeing at bulk that have stepped up from a young age, starting in their teens, Olympiacos as well, and they're starting. Vikai hasn't really been knocking on the door. He's just been fortunate with the injury, and I just wasn't overly impressed. I don't really think he's going to have a future with us after the initial hype he had coming through the academy. But the result and performance itself was shocking.
Mentally, you made a lot of good points. It's the mentality, isn't it? They can't shake that loser mentality. No, that's down to pretty. We didn't lose that on tactics, I don't think. We lost that on the sheer attitude, the poor attitude. And you also made a good point. What also infuriated me, like you mentioned our lack of shape, is when we did score, it was 2-1, there was 5 minutes left. They looked more likely to snatch a third.
Yeah.
And that for me is my opening line I was going to say. That is, they're mentally weak. As a team, they're mentally weak. So, may I start my 2 cents?
Go for it. The floor's yours.
That I had my concerns, as you boys know, about us winning this game. I had my concerns we're going to lose it. Not that I think that Vikingur is a strong team. I think we all know they're clearly not on paper. But all the conditions was going to make it harder for us than a normal game. And what this team has proven to us time and again, they are mentally weak. They do not overcome struggles easily. They do not fight hard. They fall over in a penalty box like what Yeremayev did instead of really fighting hard to try to score the goal. You know, looking for the ref's whistle. If the ref's whistle ain't going to come, the other team's going to be halfway down a pitch looking to score. Mentally weak. A lot of these players have got, they may be skillful, they may have their moments of brilliance, but they're mentally weak. We're not a team of fighters. And I've still got Vittorio as my background pitcher because that man does not deserve the blame for any of what happened, in my opinion. I still respect him as a coach, but he can't coach one of our players who gets paid 700,000-800,000 euro a year. Can't coach them to when they do a throw in to actually throw it to one of our players, which is what happened that day. He can't coach one of our midfielders to pass to one of our other players who's 5 meters away, with the nearest opposition player 2 to 3 meters away from the player. He can't coach that. He can't coach Lodigan in injury time from a goal kick, no pressure, kicking it, and it goes out in the full. He can't coach 2-1 down, and as you boys correctly point out, they're the ones that threaten to score the third. They're the ones that have got the ball for most of the possession in those 5 minutes of injury time, which shouldn't have been 5 minutes, by the way. It should have been a lot longer. That's a separate point. Still wouldn't have scored because we're mentally weak. And Nicky hit the nail on the head. That is an absolute disgrace. At -8 degrees, fans travelled for this game to watch that rubbish and don't even acknowledge it.
Some of them did, but it was only, I don't know who. I don't know who. I think Mladenovic, Maksimovic, and a couple of others. The rest are hiding, though.
Isn't it funny how the Serbians are the ones who got the most passion, right? They're hotheads, but they got the most passion for the club. Now, here's one more little rant. Our captain, Foti, is he behaving like a captain right now? Is he the one that's turned around the team and say, guys, you're playing like shit, pull your finger out, let's prove what club we are? Is he turn around to his defenders and saying, Vic guy is new, let's make sure we support him here because our defensive structure is unproven? Is he the one that says to the players, let's go thank the fans because they put up this shit in -8 degrees? The answer is no.
He doesn't strike me as that type.
As much as he's a talented player, as much as he's got a bright future ahead, and as much as he's given us some memorable moments, as a captain, as a leader, he's not striking me as a true leader in these moments. And as you all know, we've all seen the movies, we've all worked in workplaces. The really good leaders are the ones that step up when times are tough. And times are tough right now. We've got mentally weak people on our team. What are we seeing? Who is actually stepping up to lead this team? Give me one name.
That's the problem. It's a collective. I put it not just down to 40, the senior players as a whole. If he's not the captain, who else can step up to fill that void? I don't think there's anyone.
I don't think there's anyone spot on.
Bakaseta is the ethnic captain, but at the best of times, he'd struggle to make our best 11. And he's injured at the moment.
And he's injured.
So who else could the captain be? That's the problem for me. Not just solely on 40.
I'd look at Ingerson for starters. I'd really look at him. You don't really have many choices. You don't really have many leaders.
Yeah.
And that's a valid point. I think the only criticism I do have of Rui Vitoria in this game was he should have started 40, who was suspended against Volos. So 40
Yeah.
would have had the week off regardless. He should have not played it too timid or placid by playing Jeremejeff. He should have started with 40, in my opinion, and just gone for it.
Yeah. No, you're right.
Even if he did, though, I can't say if any confidence would have made much of a difference, to be fair.
The one-on-one, the when he dives looking for a penalty.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that he's not on the same level as Sudowski. He's a far better player, right? So I'm not arguing that. What I'm trying to say is, as a team, I don't think that they would have lifted with him in the squad based on the mentality that went into that game. If that was played in Athens on their own pitch, with their own fans, in much better weather, all the conditions are nice, maybe the training staff had a Fredo waiting for him at the end of the game, they may have played better.
I think he adds a different quality to the game where he can retrieve the ball and get a little bit more players involved, while Jeremejeff is more like a end product, end product in the box kind of guy to try and finish your chances, which we saw when he starts, he's not as effective as compared to coming off the bench. And again, we saw an ineffective Jeremejeff starting. He's much suited coming off the bench. And for me, 40 brings a different dimension where he can come deep, get the ball, and hold the ball, pass the ball. He can beat a play or two. He does have that in his book of tricks as well. But I think that was, for me, the big mistake on Rui, not bringing, not starting 40. And I've noticed, especially in the last few weeks, the big, we've got injury tolls as well. And the big one for me, and you see it in this match as well, he would have been a perfect fit in this match, is Arau. His presence for me has just shell-shocked the team because what he adds is size, defensive reading, and defensive cover. He's really the glue between the midfield and defense. And since he's been gone, we've seen Siopis in that role, who's been, okay. He's done the job. We've seen Seren in there. I didn't like Seren in that role against Vikingur. But Arau, he's got a couple of flaws. We see it on the ball, just sometimes just really bad passing. But overall, he provides a lot of stability and cover. And in that rut, we haven't really had Arau play, and we've kind of been exposed without him there. He's been a big out. Not too sure any word of when he's back. They haven't specified the length of the injury. It was a little bit all hush hush when he first got injured. But for me, he's been the big out. And we've got, luckily, it's a two-legger. We do see them this week in Athens. They've already gone to Athens. They've gotten a bypass from there. They got like a preseason cup, League Cup. Yeah, it's like a preseason sort of thing. So, to get acclimatized, but today it was downpouring in Athens. So, welcome to getting acclimatized. Yeah, I don't think that's got any benefit for them. I think us playing, especially today, benefit us a lot because, and we'll get to it, we got back in the winner's circle, we got a win. So we got that monkey off the back, we picked up 3 points, we broke that 5 game winless streak, and it's okay, you build your confidence through there. Now we've got them in Oaka, a much bigger stadium. They're prepping, funny enough, out of Leoforo, out of all stadiums, which it's a bit of a head scratcher, in my opinion. But now we see them coming to Oaka. It's a much bigger pitch than what they're going to be used to. Capacity, we're probably going to see 30,000 max, to be
You
honest.
reckon?
30,000, 40 max.
You reckon we're going to get that much? I hope so.
I was
I,
thinking we'll get 15, 20
Yeah.
max.
I think
Yeah.
I think with Europe, you'll get a little bit more of a crowd. Um,
I hope we get 30 or 40. That'd be solid.
I think with Europe, yeah, we'll hit that 30 mark. Um, but yeah, I think the conditions will come and suit us way more. Bigger pitch, um, crowd on our side. They won't really have any fans. They might have like a small portion, 50 to 100 fans up in that top tier that they usually put the away fans in. Um, So look, the conditions will be in our favor. We do have obviously quite a few personnel out, Yedvai, Palistri, Aral, to name a few, but um, Dragowski will be back. He obviously played against Volos, so that's a strengthening in that position. Obviously, the big question mark is in that this game is going to be who the defensive pairing will be. Definitely know Ingerson will be there. Will it be Fike? Because Schenkenveld is removed from the European list. Um, and just it's bad timing. And this is like the curse that we've got, that we drop Bart from the European list because we've seen Palmer Brown rise up, playing well, looking like he could be the permanent starter, holding that spot, but he's just gone and get injured, and we've already got Yedvay out, so it looks like he will see Fike and Ingerson there, unless Rui changes it up. If maybe Maximovic, if Aral somehow fit, you slot him in defender. Just have to wait and see.
There's this player that used to play for us called Magnuson. Remember him? Oh,
And
so
he's from Iceland. And he's from Iceland.
he's from Iceland. So Magnuson, Jedvai, Palmer Brown. That's 3 defenders are out. So a bit unfortunate in that regard. But it's still no excuse. And I think someone said they've got the budget of a second division team in Greece. But they fought Zabuka. That's what they had. We had none of it. That's what frustrates me more than anything. They wanted to win. We went there like it was a holiday. And probably had the skis in the back of the bus and had a bit of a slalom after the game. That's how it looked.
Celebrating when he made a tackle. The
Yeah,
Ibrahim.
they were.
Yeah.
They wanted it so bad. And, but they deserve to win. Yes, we missed chances, one-on-ones and that, but they deserve to win. I do not take away that victory from them at all. And because when you got that passion to win, that's what gets you over the line. We had none of that passion. We were mentally weak, no passion. And if you're going to go through the motions to get your paycheck, go work for the public service. Right? This club, that shirt, if you're not going to fight hard for it, piss off. Get out of here. I don't want you. Yeah, I don't care how good a player you were. I don't care if Unahi's worth $12 million. Hey, you're not going to deliver? Off you go. Off to your next club. Not interested.
Now,
Got one more thing.
yeah,
I'm criticising the players, and they deserve it. But that doesn't mean that the player is not guilty here either. No. And this podcast have called out management many a time in terms of how inept they are, and they are far and away front and centre. But I didn't want to focus on them today because that's a consistent theme in many of our discussions, right? Just put it out there. Papadimitriou, Alafuzo, they have led to this situation unfolding. But fair's fair. We've got to call out the players there too today.
Yeah, definitely. And I think when we target Bulls, Papadzim, it's just for me an lazy sort of approach to do so, because we know they're the issues. We know they're the culprits, but you got to look at obviously the holistic picture in this game. When the mentality was weak and we played like losers, Bulls wasn't on the ground, Papadim wasn't on the ground. The players deserve the criticism there, and the players were fined 400,000. I think as a collective, as a team, they'll fine 400,000. Now, I've got no issue with the fine from Alafuzo. There was initial uproar about it. I've got no issue with it, and our good friend Leo Foro explained why. Last year they got fined as well, and post Greek Cup, the players were lifting and throwing Alafuzo in the air, which means it's a no issue. So I've got clearly no issue with the fine being dealt. I think it's a wake up call. And
Will it be? Do you think it will be a wake up call, the fine?
I think it will be.
I hope so.
If you
I can't say with certainty.
if you hit players in the pocket, yes. If you hit players in the pocket, yes. If you can't wake up, then you're gonna cop another fine.
It's sad. That's the only way. Constantly, not just a one-off fine, a weekly fine if it's like this every game.
Of course. You gotta set the standards. We're a professional, and we can debate all you want with the stature of our club being one of the biggest Greek clubs or the biggest Greek club. Obviously not in recent future, but our rich history, everything along those lines. Like, we can't have it tainted by laziness and weakness. We just mourned the death of one of our greatest ever players and what he stood for, and we just do the opposite of what he's doing. So I've got no issue with the fine. Just this week we do have, like I said, Vikingur. It's obviously the team selection that's going to raise a few questions. What does Rui go? Does he go to his traditional, or what he's going with, the 4-2-3-1, or is he going to move into his famed 4-4-2? I was just thinking, if he really wants to go for it, does he go the 4-4-2 and you start Sudeski and Forti? When those two paired up, we came back against Orfi and beat them 3-2 with those two starring. There's going to be a lot of questions. We definitely know if Unahi is 100% fit, no issues. He will start at that 10 role. There's no doubt about that. You can obviously put Kotsiras and Mladenovic as left and right back. Ingerson, Dragowski. Question mark on the centre back. He'll definitely start Tete and Juricic. There's no doubt about that. But yeah, I think he's got questions. If Aral's back, does he play him as a 6, or does he put him as a defender? Who do you put as, if you're playing the 4-2-3-1, do you play Cheran? I think I'd opt for Cheran as opposed to anyone else there. I don't think you can make a case for Maxi as well. But yeah, there's obviously a lot of questions regarding the starting lineup.
One player that I'm hesitating to criticise as part of that performance is Siopi. He's just come in to the squad. The starting 11, and then the ongoing 11 chopped and changed several times because of the injuries during the game. He has not had that time, and nor the luck of injuries to be able to get to know the players around him. So throwing in a deep end like that, I can forgive him for not having the greatest of games because everyone else around him probably didn't do the same. Not saying he was good, right? So please don't think that. But I'm willing to give him more opportunity to establish himself in that starting 11 if Adele continue to be out. And right now, I find that he's probably more of a safer bet than Cherin, which says a lot.
Yeah, it depends on the approach
It,
that you want to take, though.
it's
Was
it's interesting.
Siopis bring Siopis more as a disruptor to the other team's plays, while you're bringing Cherin as more of a ball player.
Yep.
Exactly. And I think, and you mentioned that Sturge, I would be tempted, if it was me, if I was Victoria, I'd be going 4-4-2. And to go 4-4-2, we need goals and a fast start. I'd leave Siopis out, like off the bench, and start Maximovic with Sedin.
I feel like he's going to go 4-2-3-1 and wait until halftime to make any drastic change. I don't think
So
he's going to go for it straight away.
the thing is, though, I'll go back to they beat us because they wanted it more. They were fighters. We're not. And Cherin's not a fighter.
Siopi is more of it.
Correct. And out of all that starting 11, not that we've seen him much in the green shirt, but we know from Ethnic and other teams he's played for, he's more of a fighter. He's more of that bulldog. He's a short player. I know people call him the Pokemon, but he's a fighter. Yeah. Outside of him, who else is a fighter? Mancini.
Yeah. Ingerson, Mladenovic, Maximovic.
Probably Mladenovic would be next. Juricic, no. Dete, no.
No.
Maxi.
Unai, no. Maximovic, yes. No?
Yeah.
But is Maximovic a fighter or is he just a workhorse? It's two different things.
Yeah.
He's a bit of both. You see him make the dirty plays when he needs to as well. He'll cop the yellow when he needs to.
But he's the type that he's going to get under the skin of the other team. He's going to be a disruptor. He's going to sort of make their play more difficult. Like you look at Kanaguni back in the day. Not a bulldog type player, but he was a nuisance on the field. He was a disruptor. He'd know when to get the fouls and do all his little vlakias and all that though. But it was to our team's advantage, yeah? So we loved him for it. Got nothing like that.
Yeah. Yeah. For me, yeah, it's obviously going to come down to the personnel, how he approaches the game. Obviously, he's going to go out, 100% for he's starting. I probably do think we will see a 4-4-2 come halftime if we're struggling.
If we are serious and play to the level we know we can, we wrap this up inside 90 minutes. No ifs, no buts. I'm confident of that, provided we play at the level we know we can. But no one at the moment, this is the whole problem. No one can say we can play at that level. It's all. You just don't know what sort of team's going to turn up. Like you look at our opponents domestically, 7-0. Last week, 5-0. All these other teams can score goals. We are mentally weak, as we alluded to. We concede one and the heads drop, and scoring goals has been an issue all year. There's a lack of fighters. It's not good.
Look, we know they're gonna defend for their lives. There's no doubt about that. It'll probably be like a 70-30% possession we're gonna see in the final stats. 75-25 and in our favour. I've got no doubt about that's how we're gonna see the stats. It's what we can do with it. A key player in that is if he starts will be Unahi. I've been personally very critical of him. I don't think he's done well slotting into the 10. I think when he's played more into the 8, where he's got more space, more freedom to do his touch, his plays, he looks much better. When he's come, a lot of people have bagged out Bakasetas in his role. He hasn't been playing well as of recent. but Unahi has done almost nothing in that role either. He hasn't really created that much. He got, I think, credited with the assist for Seren, but it was just a sideways pass. It wasn't anything magical or anything. Seren scored from 35 yards from just having a hit. But Unahi, as the 10, is going to be critical in that. I think he's going to be the one that can get under players' skins. We've seen it before with, was it Atromitos in the cup where he got under their skins with the dribbles, the nutmegs. I think it was.
I think Bulk in the league as well.
Yeah, so we know he's got it in him. He's got to really show his worth. I think he's one player that needs to step up and show his worth.
So when both of you have been to Greece, I'm sure you've been to Grigoris.
Yeah.
Yep, they're everywhere, yeah, and they got the green logo and all of that. They should be our shirt sponsor. And as part of the sponsorship, every time one of our players does a good thing, they get a free voucher for Fredo. That'll motivate them. You get nice tiropites and a himo, and maybe a frappe or a Fredo. That's what these players get motivated by. Sit in the cafeteria and drink their Fredo and talk malakias. Sorry, but that pisses me off, that attitude. Right
It's
now,
a sad reality.
well, and then in the summertime, in the off season, Mykonos, Santorini, that's fine. They're entitled to do that. No issue, right? Proudly sponsored by Grigori. I'll be up for that. Get a tiropita whilst I'm watching the game. And here's the thing that pisses me off more than anything. I should have started with this. Here in Australia, we got up, 4:30 in the morning to watch that game?
4:30, yeah.
4:30 in the morning, I'm sacrificing my sleep. I'm sacrificing personal time. And I'm going to work already in a grumpy mood, having lost a few hours sleep. The sacrifices we all make to watch this rubbish, unacceptable. Now, doesn't match the guy. Sorry?
Starchidiatus.
Exactly, right? And that $400,000 fine, you know where that can go? That can go to the PAO, to the marketing team. So they can actually pay the young kid that works in the marketing team for marketing in the social media, right, to actually do a job and make deliveries go to other countries other than Greece. Right? 400,000. All I need is to pay this, say this kid, ela mi cree, cane cambiado de asimera. Viene so tactilo mio. Go get a quote to send paneles to Australia, to England, to the USA. Right? Ela mi cree, cane cambiado de. So the kid goes down, gets a quote. Psile, nastilo mia panela sinapsalia. How much? Zekavro. Thank you very much. Goes back, goes, it costs €10 to send in Australia. What do? No worries. Kalidulia, mikre. Valto sinsilida. PAO.zr. What do? I put it for €50 to send it here. All right? They're going to pay as much as the panela. Stapapayamas. Let's slug these guys. They're fans. They're passionate. They're supporting this club. Right? Stapapayamas. Bravo, Mikre, Kalidulia. Ande, bravo, Mikre, that's how these idiots think.
Όλοι μας κουνάνε το δάχτυλο. And you guys are right. Alafuzos isn't out there kicking the balls, making the rash decisions in goal like Lodigin and all that. He's to blame for the whole season, the way it's panned out. Keeping Papadimitriou. Papadimitriou in turn can't make a sale to save his life if his life depended on it. The whole Alonso thing, that's all Alafuzos. But it all rubs off. It's what you're saying, Panafa. All that rubs off. On all fronts, not just the players, on all PAO, the whole club staff as a whole.
Absolutely. They have no connection, and I've heard Leo Fordo say this too, no connection to the fans. Right? And this pod is international fans. There's us in Australia, there's the UK, there's the US boys that do the pod regularly. Right?
Canadians, there's Germans, everywhere.
Everywhere. We are a sample of a fan base that is global. and they can't even organise for the merchandise to be delivered to us. When all it takes is to send a young kid in marketing to the post office to get a quote and then put it on their website and how much it costs. Maybe I'm simplifying it, but it can't be that hard. Right? I bet you the fourth division club in Japan can do it.
Yeah.
Right? The marketing team does one delivery and then goes home. Mamá, σκοτώθηκα στη δουλειά σήμερα. Τι έπαθες, παιδί μου? Έστειλα φανέλες στην Αυστραλία. Sorry, rant over.
The marketing, I'm still stuck on that.
So just
Sorry.
the revenge match. It is played Thursday. It will be 10 p.m. local time. So a bit of a late kickoff time for Greece. So Thursday night, 10 p.m. In Australia, it is 7 a.m. Friday morning. If you're listening to anywhere else, just check your time zones as well. So bit friendlier if you're working, especially working from home, if you're for Australia. So bit lovelier. So that's a friendly time as opposed to this one 2 a.m. game that we had when we played Volos. We defeated Volos 2-1 at home, courtesy of goals from Ingerson in the 20th minute. That goal came from set piece where corner came to Swiderski, who he headed it onwards, so just lifted it in the air. No one reacted to the ball. The game was also played in terrible condition. It was downpouring. Ingerson was the only player to run onto it, latch onto it, and just slide. Just, clever. Very clever. Really switched on. So that was good to see him. Seren in the 55th minute, as I said earlier. So the goal came from a lot of, I think, a little bit of a counter attack. Unahi just side pass to Terran, took one step, shot from about 35 meters out, skidded. So it did take a bounce, skid past the Volos keeper to make it 2-0, and Volos scored a few minutes later. Juanpi. Now, this goal was a bit frustrating for me, so it was, for me, Seren at fault. Juanpi had the ball in the midfield, played a pass to their striker, who came in. Obviously, Ingerson was getting tight onto the attacker. Juanpi just made his run, was not tracked by Seren nor Siopis. Wasn't really Siopis' man. It was more Seren. Seren was just ball watching. Just got played straight through one-on-one with Dragowski, and it was a great finish from him, which made it even more frustrating just seeing them score a really nice goal like that. And then they had another big moment. So in about the 70th minute, they had a free kick. No one was switched on. Everyone was sleeping. They just passed the ball. I think it was again that man Juanpi, where he was on the side of the box, the 6-yard box. Took a shot, and Cortidas' last ditch effort to deflect it over. That was goal bound. I've got no doubt that would have made it 2-2. And really unjust. Do you boys want to give it your thoughts this game? How you saw this one?
Routine, and until they scored, routine. It was a step up. Like, we stopped the rot. We managed to stop the rot of 3 straight losses. So we saw more hunger in this one, more determination, and I think the man of the match for this game perfectly encapsulated that, which was Siopis. He's able to, as you say, get in the opposition's face, disrupt, get the ball, and he's able to then release, play an easy pass to get us ticking, to get us going. We saw the best of Siopis in this game. As I said, routine until we scored. We arguably could have been in front by a lot more than just 2, but by the hour mark, but we weren't. First goal, as you said, it's felt like an age since we last scored off a corner. Well, I know it didn't come directly off a corner, but Swiderski kept it alive. That's another assist for him now. So he's got 2 assists. Now, hopefully, you cross your fingers and everything, and you hope next is a goal for him. Nice finish, Ingerson. I was really impressed with the second goal. Really nice hit, sweetly hit by Sedin. I agree. He's mostly, for me, it's like 70, 80% his fault. That goal not tracking his man, and the rest on Siopis. Really preventable, really frustrating, as you said. And for me, honestly, I know it could have been 2-2, but it never should have gotten to that stage. Just, yeah, missing a lot of players, not at our best overall, poor conditions. Take the 3 points and move on. That's all that matters. And we're still somehow alive.
I watched the highlights of the match that had the future Greek talent of Panathinaikos playing, and that was at Levadiako against Ari, which they won
After this,
4-1. There's a few of them, weren't there? Vico, Tsapra, and here we are talking about our players who can't track a man like that. So that's, again, amateur hour. Again, not switched on. And that chance they had in the second half where it was the free kick and we were asleep and they played the player through and he was direct on goal. I think it was Gotzera that made a saving tackle. So there's fair. Call out Gotzera. I'm hoping he starts to get some form as Vaganidi is out injured. Other than that, though, I think you summed it up. I don't think I need to have too much more to say other than we should have won a lot easier.
Yeah, this one was a weird sort of game. I felt, like I said, first 10 minutes, once again, we started off brilliantly. We're looking the goods. We also had a guest legend of the game at the field.
yes.
It was only announced via the commentary. I heard it and I was like, wait, did he actually say that? But Romario, World Cup winner, 94, Barcelona legend. Yeah, he was at the game for Tete's 25th birthday, so that's why you really saw Tete just trying to shoot from everywhere, just any space that he had. He was just really wanting to get on that score sheet. But I think with that, he was just trying too hard. Drusic played very well. Very unlucky not to be about 3-4 up in that game, especially in that first half. I think once we made it 2-0, it just fell apart. I don't know what it was. It just really fell apart at that moment. Didn't help, not having like 6-7 players out, but we were good enough to score 3 goals with that team in that first half. The second half, after that 55th minute when we scored, we just completely switched off. Volos only really had that big chance at that to make it 2, but after that, not really. But we didn't really create much afterwards either. We saw Mancini, Jeremejeff come on. Jeremejeff did like a flying knee to one of their players in the 90th minute. He caught a yellow for that. You just see that kind of stuff in MMA. And then Mancini in the box with the ball, just you can't even call it park soccer. The attempted pass that he did, it was that bad, and you just hear the crowd really like give it to him with just how wasteful and just turning over that possession. Yeah, it was like I said, a bit of a weird one where once we made it 2-0, and at halftime it was 1-0, and I put the tweet up on our main socials. You know, tempo's good. We're in control. We just need an early goal in that second to just really settle it. How vital was that second goal coming, especially after when they scored? So yeah, that you know that just speaks volumes where the team really is mentally as well. We've just talked about it for how long, just being mentally weak, but that was just a prime example of it right there. But yeah, look, important thing overall was it's 3 points. The team gets back in the winner's circle, so you kind of build up again. You get the win. You feel happy. You feel positive. You can build on that. It's how you react to that win. That next game is going to be really telling of how our season is going to go. So yeah, big game against Vikingur, and the following week as well. After Vikingur, we do play Lamia away. Lamia traditionally has been a bit of a tough place to go to, a bit of a tough team, but they're waving the white flag. They just got done 7-0 versus PAO. There's no coach that's really committing there. Volos had left. They're last by 9 points, 1 win, 6 draws. Um, like I said, they've really waved the white flag. I think they're definitely going down. Yeah, they've lost, the previous week against Leverkusen. Yeah, it's been since the 5th of January since they've scored a goal. So that's over a month and a half. They haven't scored a goal in all comps. So, yeah, on paper, on form, that should be a 3 points there as well. So
Heavy snow forecasted for this one. We've played Lamia away in the snow in the past.
do you know how he featured in that one, or do you recall?
I think we lost 2-1, 2-0, something like that.
Look, we know historically there's been a little bit of bad blood between our two clubs, especially with their antics with Tintulas or whatever his name
Oh,
is.
Tsilulis
Yeah,
last season, and
yeah,
I think he's left eye as well.
yeah. I think they've already got rid of him. So, um, yeah, I think that game is really there for the taking. I think the next two games, Vikingur, Lamia, they're wins. I've got I'm going to be very optimistic. They're both wins.
They have to be.
Yeah.
This week, we're essentially playing for our season. We lose that first one, and that's going to put a black mark on our whole season. The heads are going to really drop if we don't get past Vikingur.
And we don't have the Greek Cup to fall back on either.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This week, we're playing for our season. These two games.
I just hope though someone actually is in the club turns around and tells the players that, and hopefully the fine is that wake up call, and it could well be, but they need to understand that it's a disgrace if we bow out to Vikingur, and that would not be looked upon in any way, form as positive. So, as long as they understand the importance of that, I mean, we didn't treat it as important leading up to the first league. We just assumed that they'll do their job, but they haven't.
Look, I got no doubt that the players will be on alert. Rui is responsible for keeping them motivated. He's the coach, so he needs to keep that motivation. And if we're lucky enough to keep him for into the next season, he's going to be making drastic changes. There's going to be a lot of players walking that very fine line of who he retains and who he gets rid of as well.
Let's hope so, because
So,
he has been a shining light so far.
yeah, so there's a lot at stake, not just for our club, but these players' careers as well.
Couldn't agree more. So, look, I probably share your optimism in terms of, as disappointing as their first leg was, I'm optimistic that we'll get a favourable result in the return leg because of that wake up call. And the same goes for Lamia. So, on the probability, if I look at the return leg against Vikingur on our home ground in more favourable conditions, they will suit us. So, that's has to be a positive. So I'll put that in our favour. And I think that by having players like Dragowski back, I mean, he has been by far and away our most preferred goalkeeper, and he has had a good season so far. There's no denying it. And Lodigan has been too bad in previous seasons, to be honest. But this season, I don't know what's happened. Really don't.
Yeah. So the Lamia game is Sunday, 5 p.m. Greece time, 2 a.m. for Sydney, Melbourne, rest of the world. Check your time zones. But yeah, I don't like that 2 a.m. game. That really hurts my
Like today.
that really hurts my day. So very unproductive at work. But yeah, look, we touched on the injuries. We've got a fair few outs, and it can be a touch of bad luck. You don't know the preseason. We did have our preseason under Vamos Amor. Who's just gone on to the show. He's not competent enough. So, we're going through that bit of an injury sort of crisis at the moment. But since the last podcast until today, we did make a selling of a player. So Sporter was confirmed sold 800,000 to, I think it was Aliana Spor, the Turkish club. That's the first. So for those that don't know, that's the first sale of a player in 2.5 years. So we've had 5 transfer windows since then. We finally made a sale of a player. The last player that got sold was Alexandropoulos to Sporting. So cast your mind how far back. And, that wasn't mutual termination, that we actually received a figure. So, yeah.
And I'm assuming Papadimitriou has been in that role for all those 5 transfer seasons.
No.
I think just
He came in.
4. He's got 4.
He came in after we lost the Panathafan, the COVID game.
I think he's had 4 windows.
So 4 of the 5.
Yeah.
Oh, I won't say any further.
4. It is 4. It is 4. And this sale wasn't his sale, it was a Zavella sale.
That's a very good point.
The same
Like Villena going on loan.
The same guy that rumored to bring in Siopis. So
Yeah. Zavella's done more than him.
So Villena would be his transfer out as well.
Yes.
So Tabella is finding out the number 6 that we needed, and he's getting rid of the players with the 2 biggest contracts. So he's done well.
yeah, well, definitely. We've and he has copped a lot of flack because he's been brought in by Alafuso. Yeah, he's been by default copping a lot of flack, but I don't justify the flack that he's receiving. We know from young he's a PAO fan and a PAO supporter. You've seen the photos of him Champions League, just in a PAO jersey, everything like that, watching us play in Europe. You can see the passion that he brings. It's a different passion from what Papadimitriou does but how they act, when they're animated. So you just see Papadimitriou does it just out of clown.
Yeah.
While Zavelas, you just see it. He does it as a fan. Like you can legitimately see he's getting very angry, and you see it as him being a fan. So, I kind of do like Zavelas, even though we don't know what kind of role he's got. It's the football operations, or whatever I think that is. It's never been clear what that role is, but he's probably done already more of the player movements than what Papadzim has. So
It's like a mini sort of, what do you call it? Like a secondment, like a transition, like a ready-made replacement. Once the inevitable happens and he goes, there's your replacement.
I'm sure both you boys have worked in places at times where there's certain people in certain roles, you don't know what they actually do, and you don't know how you don't know what they're doing. Therefore, you can't measure how they're performing because you don't know what their actually performance is meant to be.
Yeah,
That
I think
sounds
a lot
like
of people
some
can
of the
say that
roles in the
about
PAO.
me. I think a lot of people have said about me at my roles. But yeah, definitely know the type.
The marketing.
Let's change pace now. Let's get into the basket. Since last week, we have played. There was no EuroLeague. There have been three cup games, or knockouts. So we had Betty Steady, where we absolutely flogged 93-63. Semi-final against Prometheus, 91-73. And then the big one this morning, Panathinaikos Olympiakos in the Greece Cup final for the basketball. It's not really a big sort of deal. The Greek Basketball League Cup, Olympiacos won last year, but I think the growing animosity between Panathinaikos, and the basketball administration, the war that's been going on with Papa Dimitriou, there's a lot more feistiness, and it was held.
Yanakopoulos.
Did I say something wrong?
Papadimitriou.
Fuck that guy. Um, yeah, Yanakopoulos. Yeah, the tournament being or the Greek Cup being held in Crete as well. Um, we end up winning 79-75 in a very tight match, a very seesaw like, especially towards the end where we had a lead of seven. Up until 1 minute to go or so, where then Olympiacos went on an 11-0 run to take a 4-point lead. I think it was like 2 minutes to go, and then we made an 8-0 run to finish off the game, 79-75. Kendrick Nunn starred, Juancho starred as well, 17 rebounds for him. And then just the post game celebrations as well. You got None with the Triandaphilos, which then eventually got deleted. Then all the memes, like the one that I've got on my picture, especially DPG. DPG was in a mood today. And yeah, he gave the players a bonus of I think it's just a squad bonus of 100,000. I don't think it was an individual 100,000, but there was $100,000 or 100,000 euro um, bonus for the players there, and the players obviously went on and celebrated and partied. Obviously, yeah, historically the Greek Cup wasn't really a big ticket sort of thing, but I think how personal it is between the ownership, the owners, and the two teams, um, especially what was said leading into the final by the media, especially Olympiacos media, um, just just being very cocky, and then
Even their coach. Again, the players, he was saying they were missing more important players than what we were missing.
yeah, a lot of the
Delusional.
a lot of the cockiness, and then yeah, it's bit them in the ass. So we got the win. Um,
But Zoka's always been a sore loser. He's not one to concede or be sincere at all.
nah,
This was one though. It was good. It was a massive fuck you, not only to them, but to the whole. As the week it was with Yanakopoulos was active on his social media and how the what is it, the committee, the basketball committee, the elections they had, and how all that panned out. And then even during the game with the officiating, really poor, dodgy at Saruja again, the dodgy refereeing, and then we were down and out, and a last late surge to win it. And this is the peak Slukas season. I know Juancho and Nunn were very good, but Slukas was also huge, and also Grant.
Yeah, Grant had some really big defensive plays towards the end as well.
On a slightly different note, there's a full house in a stadium, and but I noticed that the fans were separated,
Yes, but
and
there were a lot of our fans, not many of theirs.
not many there, but they're all together. So from a sporting perspective, I can't remember that ever being seen at a Greek sports game in any sport where Olympiacos, Panathinaikos, and the fans are all together.
Yeah, because our fans would have been mainly, and I'm just going to assume a lot of the boys from Khania Gate 13 went there, while
Correct.
Olympiacos was just their more casual family sort of fans, not the Gate 7, because historically their fans have attacked families during basketball and volleyball.
So credit then to our guys, but also look to both sides of the fans. It's a fair spelling.
Our boys were definitely taunting, calling them
Yeah,
out. Um,
yeah.
you know, but they didn't attack anyone or anything
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
But
But Crete's always been predominantly ours.
yeah, especially Kanya. Irakli, I think, is maybe more theirs, but Kanya's a big presence of Gate 13. Um,
But the
but
fact that there was, but the fact that it was not, and it was a tense game, and it was a very tight game from, and as you called out, we were losing less than 2 minutes to go, so it would have been very intense. But the fact there was no fights or major issues, yeah, I'll call that out. It's a very good positive for the game.
yeah, and and it was the saltiness of the officials as well that were doing the medal presentation and trophy, where the guy in my picture, the players extended their arms to shake his hand, and he just ignored it. And there's video proof of it. It's just you just can see how much it hurt them to see that they couldn't gift the win to Olympiacos.
They tried.
They
They
tried.
tried their hardest.
They tried. They can do it for the FC, but in the BC, it's our sport.
That's the difference in the ownership. Giannakopoulos has built a team to take down the officiating. That's a lesson, the moral of the story is that for the FC. Build a team that can ramisi these refs.
Yeah, and that's vital, and that's really vital. So, you know, Alafouzos hasn't learned his lesson yet in Greece, where we saw him recently vote with Olympiacos
Yep. Yep.
sparring game. Yeah, you got Iliopoulos, the eighth president, have the balls to take on EPBOR or the Greek Federation, and PAO and really create the war. It was only now Alafouzos just last week, whatever, signed a joint statement with Ake about Marinakis, acting on his own, making decisions on his own. Finally grew a pair a little bit too late, but you just need ownership like DPG, someone that is invested in the club emotionally. You
That's it.
how
That's the key.
see how emotionally invested Iliopoulos is. You see with the heroin dealer how emotionally invested he is with their club. You see it also with Savidis. Even brings guns to the game.
Yeah.
He's got
They're
a
fans.
yeah, but yeah,
They're fans of their clubs, like Giannakopoulos is. Boyhood, in his blood. Oh, we can't say the same for Alafouzos. And that blasé attitude rubs off on the players with the FC, and the win at all cost mentality rubs off on the players in the basketball.
yeah. So and kudos to the basketball guys.
21st Cup we've won, and it stopped the rot of three in a row of theirs.
Yeah. And that's what I was saying, like how much it really means. Because last year, like I said, when we lost it, it was like a non-issue for Ataman. I don't think it was on his radar for something to win that he was focusing on.
No, it's championship of
And
EuroLeague.
and
Yeah,
the important thing is as well in this basketball is we burst the Olympiacos bubble again.
Yeah,
The whole thing that they're gonna win everything, they're unbeatable, everything like that. it's not the case. We've done it in the league to them, and now we did it in the Greek Cup final, the Basket Greek Cup final. They're not invincible. They might go on and take the first seed, but that's not going to be any guarantee, how far they're going to progress because we've shown that they can be vulnerable. And we're doing it without like a proper center, a starting center. We've got, your seven out and we've got Lesor out. We're not doing it with either of our starting centers. So that's speaking volumes of the players, the attitudes, and the performances.
For what I saw in this game, Plancho got the most rebounds.
Yeah, he got 17 rebounds.
So we're making do. But it is still a weakness, and I think we've got a week or two break now,
Yeah.
international break. So, I mean,
Correct.
I couldn't welcome that soon enough because of all the injuries we've got. And Sluka has been amazing, but he needs a breather as well.
Yeah, correct. So the next game for the basketball is our time, or in Greece, EuroLeague against Lyon away, which will be Friday night Paris time. Yeah, not too sure on the starting time there. Just check the guides. It will be Saturday morning in Australia, 7 a.m. Then after that, it gets a little bit tricky. We do host Real Madrid and Olympiacos, and then we play away to Olympiacos in the EuroLeague. So the next three games are really going to define the EuroLeague where we sit in the standings as well. Anyway, boys, anything you guys want to finish up the tone with? Anything think Nick wants to have a say?
Just win. Just be Vikingur. Just win. Seriously. I don't want to imagine what it's going to be like if we don't progress. This routine, what should be a routine second leg, has now turned into a telecor with everything riding on it.
Couldn't agree more. I don't think I can say it any better than that. Just win.
Yeah, and it's not just win against Vikingur. It's just win all your games. We've got 3 league games of the regular season to go. Win all 3. Like, there's no.
That's what I mean. If we can get through, you'd think it will build some confidence heading into the last 3 league games. If we lose, confidence is going to be on the floor heading into those final 3 league games.
Yeah, there's no room for error anymore. We've got to be perfect in our next 4 known games. I'm not including like whatever potential after Europe was. Our next 4 known games are the 1 Europe and the 3 Greek league games. We've got to be perfect.
Yeah,
Even if it's not perfect, we've got to be.
just win, get results,
Yeah.
efficient, effective.
All right, boys. I think we can leave it at that. For everyone that tuned in, listening, thank you very much. Follow our socials if you haven't already. Just leave us comments, message us if you have any questions, reach out to us. Even if you're on socials, say hello to us. Especially, we're probably more active on the X in our chat. If you want to join in on the madness on our little community, you're more than welcome to. Just let us know as well. I think our good friend Akunda would love that. He needs a bit of cheering up at the moment, so he's going through a bit of a rough time at the moment, as he tells us. So cheer up, Akundas. We love you. Everyone else, thank you very much.